For the first time ever, a Dave Matthews Band studio album was played in full in the same sequence as the track listing of that studio album at a live Dave Matthews Band show. And what other album to choose to do this than the magnum opus of the catalog, Before These Crowded Streets? The DMB post-show stream starts now.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started, and I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end, and then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing, Dave has put, where Sean has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. What up? What up? It's your boy Conserviz 34, and tonight will go down in DMB history as just one of those all-time nights that the band has done something they never did before. And we can say, you know, some are going to say this is the best show ever. Some are going to say this is the best show post-Roy. And people have different perspectives. Some people have been seeing this band since 93. Some people have been literally, this is their first year. Some people, this is their first set of shows at this Gorge run. Like, they've never been to a DMB show. But one thing is clear, and it's that when the band does things like they've been doing the last two nights, it really is one of the rare instances where the overwhelming majority of the fan base is all happy at the same time. That's hard to do. And earlier today, I was engaged in a conversation. I want to thank this gentleman by the name of Craig. He posed out to Facebook, right? A Facebook group, DMB Gorge Crew Community. He was like, why do people complain about set lists after show? Why can't they just talk about the positive? But I'm asking, he's asking this from a sense, he just wanted to know an honest answer. He was not going to judge. He was not going to clap back at anyone who said anything negative. He just wanted to know, as somebody who he personally just says, listen, I appreciate every show, right? Even, some shows, get more than others, but I don't know why people complain. He also kind of talked about, we had a great conversation, just a couple quick posts. He's a Detroit Lions fan, so he knows all about suffering, so he's like, listen, DMB shows, even when they don't play everything you want, it's still better than being a Lions fan. And I responded because, to me, the reason I'm even here on YouTube, the reason that I have the post-show stream, the reason I'm on Twitter is because I felt there was no lane for anyone to just be honest about the band on Facebook. And so that drove me to say, hey, well, Ants Marching, their podcast was starting to slow down, life circumstances, things like that. But I wanted to be a voice to say, listen, I'm going to be honest about my feelings on the show. I'm going to try to be respectful, but I want to tell people why I don't like certain things and why I like other things. And I want to have people who come on the stream who have different opinions. But my point for tonight is, when the band creates a set list like this, it's not about, they played a whole album front to back and had a couple other songs sprinkled in. This isn't rocket science, and it made the majority of this fan base happy. There's been all sorts of, every Gorge weekend, there's all sorts of issues, glow sticks, and people were trying to sneak in drugs allegedly between stickers. So they were confiscating stickers. People were trying to do that last night, where they were sneaking in drugs through like sticker packages, like, oh, it's all stickers and it's drugs, right? Allegedly, right? But when you have a show like tonight, it just takes away from all the chatter, all the noise, all the side comments, all the drama that's online. And people are just like, this is a show. This is a phenomenal show. And it's all because they just said, hey, let's play Before These Crowded Streets front to back, and we put some stuff around it. And on top of that, that's just one part of it. The other part of it is you have a number 41 that had life that you had never seen from it in forever. I'm sorry. Number 41 has been it's been a shell of itself. And it's not because the band is not talented. But the core elements of number 41 are very much open space, groovy, jazzy, funky, percussive, acoustic guitar driven. And that's exactly what we got tonight. My only thing is, I was waiting for a Jeff Coffin solo, which I hope one day, I have a dream that one day we'll have a Jeff Coffin solo on number 41. But nonetheless, this was a phenomenal performance. There was a very brief electric guitar solo. There was no trumpet solo. And this is not a knock to the talents of Rashawn Ross, but number 41 does not need a trumpet solo. It doesn't. This is a song where Leroy Moore played saxophone and flute and blew people's minds for the time he had on this earth. So the Flecktones come out. And I'm going to go over and just show you kind of how long it's been since certain members of the Flecktones, the current lineup of the Flecktones, has been on the stage at a Dave Matthews Band show. Because this was a special event. This is something that you're not going to see. Maybe, who knows if we will ever see this again. I'm just being honest. We don't know if the full Flecktones will be in a opener spot or a guest spot where they're all on stage. All right, so here we go, right, for the Flecktones. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Howard Levy has never been on stage with DMB. This is his first time tonight. Future Man, first time since 2012. And Victor Wooten, 6/16/2013. This was Father's Day. This was the day after I went to Mansfield Night 1. He came on Mansfield Night 2 and just absolutely, and I'm like, I was spending time with my father, right? And so I didn't go to that show because, listen, family first. I love my father. He's been a role model to me. He's the reason I'm the father I am to my son, who's right here chilling. Shout out to my son, baby my. Right. But I'm like, dang, I wish I would have been there. Victor Wooten's back on stage. And then Bela Fleck has been with this band recently, back at that MSG Night 2 show in 2024. That's one element of it too, amongst the Before These Crowded Streets. All right. Stay with me. And then you do have Joe Lawler. That is just, I didn't expect him to come out because I thought with all of the potential guest star power, I didn't think they were going to have someone like Joe pop out, but they did. And so you get him. And then you have Jake Rennick Simpson, who, let's show you a picture. My friends who, by the way, the same friends, this is full circle, the same friends who went to a meet and greet that Victor Wooten was talking to fans just at a music shop, and they told him last October that there was going to be a Flecktones tour that's in the works. And then I told you guys, hey, this is what I'm hearing. And people were like, I don't know. And it all came to fruition. These same friends happened to run into Jake here right, at this little railing. And he stops to say hi to them. And other people had spotted him as well. I took a nap here. I had to here on the East Coast. I woke up and the talk before the show was Jake is here again. So it's like, okay, he's here and he comes and he plays. And this is really the third date he's had with Dave Matthews. And the first one was back for Wildlands Night 2, August 2nd. And then you had last night was the second date. And he's like, all right, Dave's like, I'm going to introduce you to my real, like the full band. And then tonight, all right, you're going to play with Bela Fleck for a couple of songs. And then but you're also going to have some songs where you're highlighted from Before These Crowded Streets. Hey, Leah, I see you up there in the chat. I hope you guys are doing well. I don't know if you were able to send a video, and I was asking your husband to send a video. If you can't, if you have bad service, no worries. Right. And yes, CD, that Flecktones, the 2013 weekend where Victor Wooten came to Mansfield, they were chanting "Let's Go Bruins," and Dave thought they were saying Victor Wooten. That was when the glorious time where the Bruins fans had the hope of winning the Stanley Cup, and the Blackhawks actually beat them, and I was so happy and relieved as a Flyers fan in Bruins country. Anyway, let's go back to this here. So you have Jake come on and he plays. And then the other additional element that continues through is you have Tim Reynolds on acoustic guitar for certain songs. So for years, people have been saying, play Before These Crowded Streets front to back. The band needs a violin or else, right? That's in the thing. And people have wanted the Flecktones to come back. They were supposed to come in 2020 to the Gorge, and the pandemic changed those plans. In 2021, they did not come back. And so you have all these elements all in one show in a weekend where we have not had any songs from Big Whiskey, which has been played to death and needs a break. And we've had 2 straight shows with that. And shout out to everyone on the couch store. Shout out to the people, the boots on the ground, sending me information about what was going on stage. It was able to help me to understand from home what was going on, who was on stage, who was playing what, what was it like there in person. And this show starts off with a Watchtower opener. And I thought this was powerful. I do not like Watchtower closers. Why? Because I don't think the band should close with a cover, even though this cover is epic and gets crowds moving. But it got everyone moving as an opener. This is the first time this has opened a show since 2014 at the Gorge as well. This was a 2-set show, so it was an acoustic set. So you have the band and Carter's in more of an acoustic setup. Stefan and Tim, it's a different setup when it's acoustic based. This was the first time since in a full band show, like I guess you could call it electric, even though there were no electric guitars on stage. June 21st, 1993 was the last time it opened up, and the only time that it opened up a show, like a regular set, non-acoustic set ever. Right? So they opened up with Watchtower. They go right into You Never Know, which is an awesome gem of a song, arguably one of the best written songs Dave made. And the reason that I give a pass to the band for not releasing the Lily White sessions and then going back in for Busted Stuff, because that song ended up being completed and it is a beautiful song. Then you get Joe Lawler on Cornbread, and again, just a kind of a shocker. You see they set up his amp and you're like, wait, Joe's coming out. Right. Oh, and right. Thank you, Zach. That Watchtower was Dave's solo in 2014, because they would start off the show with Dave solo or Dave and Tim. Sorry. Thank you, Zach, for that correction. And so they then go into Cornbread, and I will say this about Cornbread. I've said this. Zach, who's in Kermit the Prog, we both were at that Timless Deer Creek weekend, and I believe Cornbread was played in 2022. Joe Lawler's blues rock guitar is much more suitable for Cornbread than the slide guitar solos that Tim does on Cornbread. I just think it's better, and Joe did a good job of giving that more of a blues rock take versus that slide guitar, which gets too loud in my opinion. And I'm an electric guitar player. It gets too loud and too twangy, too trebly. I just don't think that's DMB at its best. So I think Lawler did a great job of giving that blues rock sound for Cornbread. Then you get to a song the most underrated, underplayed song from the Walk Around the Moon album, which is It Could Happen. And the reason I think that it should be played more is because it's a beautiful, quiet song, right? Tim gets on his acoustic nylon Breedlove guitar, and the end of that song, they kind of like Dave can kind of build it up on some very simple open chords, which are easy to play, and he can just strum and focus on his singing. And you think about that Bangor main version of that. Copper Pie has a video out for that. That version is, to me, the best version of that song. But this song it's the tour debut. It's been underplayed, right? And it's underrated, in my opinion, for some people who may have never heard it live. But it's really just underplayed. Instead of, you could cut out like half the Looking for Veins in the last 2 years and just play It Could Happen half of the time, and that would be better. And then, like I said, we get to this 41, which again is just a special performance of it. The only thing missing is a Jeff Coffin solo. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. Like, Jeff has played number 41 with the band, and him and Carter had a special moment that Across the Pond DVD, and they just really turned up, and hopefully one day the sax comes back. And so after this, okay, there's a series of songs that people start to catch on. Wait, they're going to play the full Before These Crowded Streets album front to back. You start off with PMP into Rapunzel, and then you have Bela on the last stop, right? And this is an awesome last stop here, right before you get to 10 songs in. And thank you, Zach. He says Flecktones number 41 was just shy of 16 minutes. And to add on to that, you think about some of the really, really long performances from DMB without a guest. That number 41, I was so immersed in it from home. It felt like it was just like I lost track of time. That was 16 minutes, but you had so much going on that was great. And so sometimes the band without a guest will go 14, 15 minutes. And you're like, bro, come on, wrap it up. And I'm glad number 41 has been shorter because it doesn't need a 45-minute electric guitar solo. Right. But going back to Last Stop. So Last Stop, you have Bela on there. This is awesome because you get an East Coast Last Stop at MSG Night 2 last year with Bela. And then now you get the West Side. They get their own Bela Fleck Last Stop. And just a phenomenal performance, and much earlier than you're typically getting Last Stop. And so after Last Stop, you're like, okay, those are the first two, right? And it didn't hit me until Don't Drink the Water. I was like, wait a minute, they're playing this album. They're about to play this album front to back. So we get Don't Drink the Water with Bela Fleck. I'd be interested to see how it sounds, from the soundboard. But I think one of the issues that I saw when I heard Bela on it in 2023 at SPAC was he was pretty much buried by the rest of the band. Right. But from Couch Tour, you could hear that banjo, to me, in my opinion, just from my assessment, more than I heard it in person at SPAC 2023 night 2. And I was mad because I'm like, and listen, these things happen. It's showbiz. Sometimes the levels, the sound isn't mixed. It's hard to do it real time. But it's like, what's the point of having Bela when you're going to bury him and just play over him? And I think this performance, it appears that Tim may have toned down those loud harmonics that he plays on Don't Drink the Water. You guys know me. I like the song slow and more acoustic based. So then after Don't Drink, they play Stay. And then everyone's like, okay, they're playing this whole album. They're going to really play this full album in full. Matt Norlander comes out on Twitter and he covers college basketball, but he's also a huge DMB fan. He's had some big interviews with Steve Lillywhite and some other people, Steve Harris. He comes on, and when he comes on in the middle of the night, East Coast time, right? I know he's got 2 boys out here in Connecticut as well, right? So when he's coming up in the middle of the night, and then it's like, okay, when he comes out, you're like, all right, there's definitely that's when it's an alert that you guys, if you're asleep or you're half asleep, stay up and pay attention to this set. So they play Stay. And then we get a Halloween, the first mid-set Halloween since 2017. And that was a Dave and Tim performance. The first time at a DMB show since 12/1/2012 that it's been mid-set. This is typically something that's closing out shows or closing out sets. And so it was like, what? They're playing it. And so after Halloween, I think everyone pretty much knew they were going to play through it. They play The Stone, Crush, Dreaming Tree. And it's just going through all these songs in consecutive order. They're split up, right? They split these up at shows typically. But to be able to hear this album and to think back of the first time I heard this album and the first time I heard the vinyl, I when they had the re-release and I got this on vinyl and I literally upgraded my record player and speakers before These Crowded Streets being re-released. And so I think about that. And I think about running at sunset to the Stone, which is pretty epic and scary at the same time. And so they go to the Stone, they go through Crush and then Dreaming Tree to get, just a powerful song. Then we get to Pig. And I think the thing is, a couple people hit me up like on Twitter, and other Facebook and all this other stuff, texting me, and they're like, they gotta have the violin on Pig. Like that was the moment people were like, all right, this is when you bring out Jake. And sure enough, they brought out Jake for Pig. He goes all the way through to the end of the main set to Billy's. Right. And so the last run of these songs are just of Before the Crowd the Streets through Spoon, right? Dreaming Tree, Pig, Spoon are just, you're just like, this is once in a lifetime. Right. And so it is just, what can you say other than this is what people have been waiting for, right? And then the funny thing is, this is what's funny about this weekend. It gets thrown in there as like a gag, in my opinion. Satellite is the first song played after Spoon. So it's like Dave is trolling us and like gonna play Satellite. And then people need to go to the bathroom. So he plays Satellite, but you still have Jake and Bela on this song as well. It's funny, Tim went to electric guitar. So he plays Satellite last Saturday on that acoustic nylon. It was so beautiful because it was not that piercing electric guitar. But then he goes on Satellite for this show and he's on electric, and it's like, all right, hey, listen, this is a once in a lifetime show. We'll let it slide like the Goo Goo Dolls. All right, yeah, it's cool, Tim. But there's really no reason that you should have Tim on electric guitar ever again on Satellite. Put him on acoustic. The other thing about Satellite, I wish Buddy was on the keys. I think about that Live Tracks 31 performance of Satellite with Butch on the keys. I'm not a fan of the organ on this song. I think the keys complements the lightness, the beauty of this song, not an organ. There's very limited songs that an organ makes sense on with DMB, in my opinion. So that was the only thing with Sat. But again, this is a once in a lifetime set, so we'll let it slide. And then you have a Tripping Billy's, and Dave either says check him out, Jake, or check him out, Jake Boy, like, or something like that. And that was just like that was a moment where you're like, it was at that moment we knew Jake is gonna be with this band forever. Like, we don't know. Nobody knows. But that was just a great way to end in that show main set. And of course, I joked about it on Twitter, but of course, and when you have an amazing run of songs like this in the main set, Dave is going to play the predictable rye whiskey E1 spot, which it's just stays there for hours and hours. There was an exception where earlier this year, I think that was Deer Creek, where Dave played it because they had to fix Buddy's rig. Buddy's piano rig had to be fixed, or and so they or whatever, his rig, because it's not just piano, it's organ, other stuff, Rhodes. They fixed that and he plays it. But other than that, he plays that, talks a little bit of stuff, and we got to help out every people. We got to pay for all this stuff. Communism, cool. Pay for the kids and their lunches, yeah, great. And so he goes from that, and then they close with What Would You Say, making it so again we have a show with no stand. Look at the album spread. Before These Crowded Streets and Under the Table and Dream and Crash, one Busted Stuff, one Walk Around the Moon. You have for two shows we've had no Big Whiskey and we've had no Stand Up. And I think that is great to just have a break from those albums. I don't need Big Whiskey played front to back tomorrow. Someone must have been joking online and read it already. Maybe they're trolling. They said play Come Tomorrow front to back. No, thank you. No, thank you. And I'm sure it was just a joke. So the big question is, does this happen again? This is really like, if for Phish fans, this is the equivalent of Phish playing Gamehenge at New Year's Eve recently. But obviously Gamehenge has been played before in sequence. There's never been a Before These Crowded Streets played in an entire show, let alone front to back in order. You know, you've had Away from the World that was played at that East Rutherford, New Jersey Izod Center show. That was Away from the World. This is Before These Crowded Streets. All right, this is a whole different thing. Both Lily White albums, but this is a whole nother level. It's always possible, and I think what we've been seeing the last couple of years is the Dave. Hold on, let me turn this down. My son just woke up. Let me turn down the monitor. Oh, he's so cute. I can see him looking around. He's teeth. I got a 5-month-old teething here, and so he's like, oh, there's my wife. Yeah, Mrs. Concert Viz doing the thing. I probably will be up with him a little later. But anyway, nonetheless, will this happen again? I think with the way, like, Dave about 5, 6, 7 years ago pretty much was like, I play what I want to play. Like, da 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 da. Like, that's how he was. I think he was turning like 50. And he was around that. He's like, I'm at the point I don't care. But the last couple of years, Dave has cared. Okay. There's no denying there's been intentional things he's done to kind of please fans. And so he does care now. And so it's possible we get another album. Maybe we get a Crash front to back at another setting of a 2-night stand or a Gorge weekend. But Dave is inspired, and there's a couple of different things here. And I'm going to just share what I know from listening into interviews and being at a live podcast. Part of the way that Dave gets influenced is by band members or people close to the band he trusts. He has a very tight circle. Leroy Moore was the person that would push Dave and say, bro, no, we doing 41. Like, I don't like 41. We're doing this. We're doing that. He was able to influence Dave in a way that I don't think, based on what I hear from other people and read up on, unlike anyone else. Obviously, he's passed away. We miss him. But you also have Rab, who told a story on the pod that Jane likes of the reason we got I wasn't there, but the reason Let You Down was played back in the 2 sets era was because of intervention of what Rab kind of challenged Dave to play. Hey, I bet you can't play this, right? Or you should play it. Step up. And so Let You Down was simply played because Rab influenced Dave and challenged him to play it. And so for people who have their opinions on Rab, and I think a lot of it is just they don't understand the impact he has both with the band and the fan base. And they're like, why is this guy walking around thinking he's just like, no, he does a lot of great things. But nonetheless, one thing you got to put some respect on his name for is Let You Down was played because of his intervention. Oh, he was talking to a fan that said, oh, if you play this song, I would lose it. And then he passed it along to Dave and he influenced Dave to play it. We know that Rodrigo Simas, I was at the Pod That Jane Likes live podcast, SPAC in 2024, it was the morning of SPAC night 2. Rodrigo said he was the one who told Dave years ago, you should do PMP into other songs. So Rodrigo is the reason you have PMP in the question mark. And then we think of the late Ian Kuhn. There was a memorial run for him today. Ian loved to run with DMB fans and stay fit and active. And he passed away earlier this year, and he is missed, and rest in peace to him. I just think about, I hope his family is well, despite this being a very fresh wound for them to lose Ian earlier this year. And for the band and the crew, he was a huge part of just being a light for this crew, being a great person to be around. And so Ian would give his input to sets, right? Ian would give his input in, I've been able to confirm this as well, that he was a huge part of the set list making process. And so these people, from Rab to Rodrigo to Ian, they really make a difference. And there's probably some other people that just haven't been named, and maybe they're just, he touches base with them as well. But even before he goes to the band, he has people, Dave has friends and crew members that help him at times just to make some decisions and challenge him to, hey, play this song, Dave. Come on, Dave, play the song. And so that is a big part of this. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think Dave woke up and said, I'm playing Before These Crowded Streets front to back. Either a band member or somebody in his inner circle, someone in the crew, has been campaigning or lobbying for this to happen. And if that's the case, whoever did that, thank you. Thank you for tonight. I don't think Dave woke up and said, I'm playing Before These Crowded Streets front to back. But I think it could happen. And again, it's because Dave is in a current era where he is doing things that have never been done before. And for as much talk about, the band needs a violin, and I'm not disagreeing. Like, Jake has done a great job, and Jake seems to have, it appears like they asked him to come out for this, and he came out, right? You have someone like Anne Marie, right? Simpson, Inninger. I wish I could know what's the best way to give her name. I don't want to disrespect it, but anyway, Anne Marie, she has a family that she's raising. She has young kids. She can't just fly out to the Gorge. And so, and then, I don't know about Jason Crosby. I don't know. He's not here this weekend, right? So, like, the availability of that, but nonetheless, even beyond the violin, the fact that we've gotten Before These Crowded Streets, the last 3 summers, we've gotten every Before These Crowded Streets song played. And now we have it played in a full show in sequence. Dave is doing things that he doesn't typically do. And the only other time Before These Crowded Streets was played in a single tour was in the fall of 98. That's right. The summer that Before These Crowded Streets came out, they did not play every song. And in 99 and 2000 and 2001, they still didn't play every song from their best album. We're getting this stuff in 2023, 2024, and now 2025. This is the first time ever that every single Before These Crowded Streets song has been played twice in a tour, meaning the other times that we've had every Before These Crowded Streets song played, which is, most of them the last couple of years, there's been a song or two or more that have only been played once. So there was one play the entire tour of that. So yes, they played every song, but they played a song like Halloween once. It's now been played. Halloween's now been played twice for this tour. And there's been years, and the funny thing is, there's been years Halloween has been played more than twice. But then a song like Dreaming Tree or Spoon is not part of that year's, it's not part of the plan for that year. Oh, it looks like I got an update here. Leah, who, again, thank you to Leah and Darren from upstate New York. They're just giving us all the inside information. Leah said he chatted with Rab tonight and that he suggested Dave play Before These Crowded Streets tonight back in December. And Dave said he was crazy. So maybe it was Rab, whoever, I don't know. I'm just glad that it happened and I'm not even there. So this is great stuff. So we'll see what becomes of this. And I say this every time, guys. People after a night like last night or tonight, how can the band ever, what are they going to play tomorrow? Guys, this catalog is so huge. They still don't have to play any songs from Big Whiskey. They don't have to play Jimmy Thing. They don't have to play Louisiana Bayou. They could play a lot of great songs that haven't been played so far for Crash, like Let You Down, this Gorge weekend. They could play the unreleased '04 songs that haven't been played. They could play a bunch of other unreleased songs. They don't even have to play they could play Some Devil songs, plus unreleased songs, plus songs like Monkey Man that don't really that have never been played live. Now they're not. I don't think Dave's gonna do that. He's human, and this has been a grueling weekend to be able to have to do these sets. Technically, has been not been easy, but there's still a lot of great songs. They don't have to go into the songs I don't like. Right? We don't have to have we don't need Goose to be on Louisiana Bayou. Okay? Or That Girl Is You. That would be the ultimate troll. We're going to bring out members of Goose for That Girl Is You. No. That would be right? So we'll see. Zach says, do you think Jake will be back tomorrow? I mean, I've got to assume he's the thing is, he could technically fly back tonight. We don't know. But I think he got a call to come out for the weekend, and I think we'll get him. And the fact that it's been back-to-back shows, that has not been done, right? I don't think that's been done. Even let's look at Anne Marie, the Hollywood Bowl years. If we go to 22, was Anne Marie on both years? Anne Marie Simpson, maybe she would. Let's see. Okay, so she did it. She did do it back in 2022. That was the first thing I thought of. But at the same time, Anne Marie Simpson is LA based. She's not going to be flying out. Again, she could always do it. Her kids could get older, but by that time, the band, who knows where this band is, and maybe Dave and Friends. But yeah, it looks like we did get back-to-back nights in 22, but again, Anne Marie is bound to LA, the LA Metro. Yeah, I know, and Warren did it back-to-back nights, but as far as violin players, back-to-back nights of violin. And yeah, and same thing with Warren. He has a house in Westchester County, New York, just outside of the city, so he can fly in. He got it like that. Let's go back to now what I have some videos, and what I want to do now is play some fan reactions to this show. So let's go ahead. We'll get Robin up here and we'll hear from her. All right, this is fan, and then we got Kumi up next. Let's hear Robin.
Hey Marcus, so night 2, awesome. My big takeaway, besides the fact that they played the entire album, was that they played Halloween, and I haven't heard Halloween in a couple years, so when I heard it, I started screaming at Ray and Teddy, because that's one of my favorite songs from them. It's probably top 5. So it was really great to hear it again. And then just the Flecktones coming out, and then they had the violin or the fiddle coming out, and it was just a really fun show that just kind of showcased the band and all of their friends that they have had over the years, and it was just a really cool experience. I know it's historical or whatever, but yeah, it was just fun to be here. And even I always made the joke, but they opened with Watchtower, so I was oh god, what's gonna happen? With Cornbread, and then they did the You Never Know into It Could Happen, and then all of a sudden it just went off. So it was fun. Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow, because a lot of people are what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm hoping for a couple songs from Away from the World. That's my favorite, so we'll see. But I'm just looking at the stage and the people are still here, and now we have to do a walk. So I will send a video tomorrow, and yeah, bye.
Yeah, there's a couple of things here. One thing that's it seems like it's a signature or nod is you have You Never Know, Cornbread's in there, but then It Could Happen, and then it happened. You had a 41 with the Flecktones before these Carter Streets front to back. Those things. And then Away from the World, I think it goes to show you the era we're in with DMB, where Away from the World is so tenured now. And you have a lot of fans. Listen, my first show was in 2012 when this album came out later that year. But you have a lot of fans, the fans who are still on tour. They're still longtime fans, but a lot of the longtime fans, many of them, thousands of them, have stopped going to DMB shows for various reasons. So you have people who join from Big Whiskey and Away from the World and Come Tomorrow and even Walk Around the Moon. You have fans who just got into this band who are now trying to go to as many shows as possible. And that's a beautiful thing. But so you have fans who really want these Away from the World songs, you know, Belly Belly Nice. I never thought I would see the day where people are like, where's Belly Belly Nice? And again, it's a fun song. It's a fun song. I'm just not, but it's like there's so many songs that I would have in line before Belly Belly Nice. Snow Outside is one that I think that's the gem of the album that hasn't been played in a while. That's probably the most, you know, you take a poll of which song should come back that hasn't been played for a while from Away from the World. That's probably the one. There's some people who want If Only, and I think that song live is pretty stale and flat, but people want these Away from the World songs back. Let's get the next interview up, which is Kumi. This is a two-parter. Let me get these set up here. So that's part 2. This is part 1, I believe. I will know for sure in just a second.
What's up? It's Kumi, DMB, also known as DMB Fan JTR. Here with my buddy Jimmy. How's it going? We just witnessed probably the best set I think I've ever seen here at the Gorge. We're still inside the venue. We decided to do pit last minute. We were going to do lawn, but we saw that the prices dropped around face. So this guy just decided to make a decision for us, and we ended up doing the pit, and man, that was an incredible show. I mean, they played Before These Crowded Streets in its entirety. I don't think that's ever happened before, where they played a full album inside a set. In order, yeah. It was crazy. It's hard to pick a favorite moment, because they played literally, with Bela, they played the entire Before These Crowded Streets album. But I mean, Halloween's awesome. Last Stop was awesome with Bela. Jimmy, what was your favorite part of the set?
I'm still processing, but I mean, Halloween you can never go wrong with. You never know.
Yeah.
Opening with Watchtower.
Yeah, Watchtower opener was sick too. Like first time since '93, I think, in a full band set. Like, and that's like an amazing opener. Like if you're gonna hear Watchtower, opening is probably where you want to hear it. You know, so. That was really cool. We had a great crowd around us. I mean, we're at the Gorge, so you know everyone here kind of is pretty invested in Dave and wants to come here for the moments like this, like seeing PTCS in its entirety, just unplanned. You know, I'm wondering what the tickets would have gone for if people knew, you know, what was going to be played. Like we got them for around face, but like if people knew Before These Crowded Streets was going to be played, it would have been exorbitant. Like it would have been so much more. The Gorge is amazing. It's both of our second time here. We never done the pit before. We were always in the lawn, but I mean, the Gorge is just an otherworldly type of venue. Like if you can come out here, I definitely would recommend it. You know, the noise was good where we were. We were about 8 rows back, maybe.
Yeah. Dead center. Though.
Dead center. Yeah. We got in. Doors were at 3:30. We got in at like maybe 3:45 or 4. Yeah. We walked right in. I did like the poster a lot, the Mazda, but I didn't have a chance to get it. I was going to prioritize, you know, getting up front. So, but it was a cool poster. I mean, Mazda, you know, he's got this little character in there every time. Didn't really get a peek on, you know, if it's still left or not, because I haven't walked out of here yet, but I'm imagining it's gone. Especially with what kind of set we had, I don't think that's going to stay on the shelves. Like, I'm still kind of dumbfounded that happened. Like, I don't know what to say.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But
it seemed like they were out of body too.
Yeah.
Like Dave was like, it was like ethereal.
Yeah, it really was. Like, it just seemed like something else completely. But that's all we have for now, Marcus. Thanks for having us on, and we will see you the next one.
All right, and just an update that Kumi did text me. There were plenty of the night 2 posters available. It was a collab between Jim Mazza and Owen Murphy. One Drop Design Studio, I believe, is Owen. And they put together the poster. Let's take a look here. But this was available after the show. One thing about the Gorge is it has been kind of the management and the band have realized, but I think it's more management. I don't think the band's like, we got to sell posters. Like, and one thing I credit DMB with, they just allow management to handle certain things. They don't really step in. You won't even hear them talk about things business wise that often. And so they realize, hey, the Gorge is becoming a poster fans mecca. People buy a lawn ticket to go into the Gorge early to buy a poster, leave the Gorge, go to tailgate some more, and then they have a second ticket, whether it's a seat, a box, a box or a pit ticket or another lawn ticket. People will buy 2 lawn tickets for the same show simply to get a poster that's rare. And so posters were selling out for certain nights. I think of that 2019 Sperry. And even back, and then they brought another Sperry out in 2021 with a much larger run to try to cash in on it. And so because they know this, you have a lot of fans who are poster collectors that make this trek to the Gorge. They've raised the price on posters at times. And then they've also increased the amount of posters that are printed. The good thing, I think, in my opinion, is with these larger runs, if you want the poster, you can get it. I'm somebody who believes, and listen, I got a rare poster back there, but I'm somebody who believes the more posters, the merrier. If someone wants that art, I think we should allow more fans to access it. It should not be a limited run just to be like, oh, it's exclusive. Like, I don't believe in that. So I think it's a good thing because there's less stress. It helps the secondary market and fans who make this trek. It is not easy. It is costly to make the trip out here to the Gorge, whether you stay in a hotel like I did both times I went, or you camp, or whatever you do, you get a condo or Airbnb rental property. You should be rewarded with an option to reasonably get a poster as long as you get there for the opener. Or in this case, you stay, and the show is still available. I thought this poster was cool. I think what I like about this is sometimes the Mazza posters get too weird for me. This one has his signature characters. It has some of Owen Murphy's signature stuff there. But then it also has the Gorge in the background, and it's not too out of this world. Some of the Mazza posters I just could never see myself hanging up because they're too weird for me. That said, people who he has a large base of fans who like his weird and odd posting. So it's not for me a lot of times, but I know he's a very popular poster artist as far as Jim Mazza there, and he combined it with Owen Murphy. And I like this idea of poster artists combining. Last year we saw this. I believe that was Slater and was it Quack? That was for Fiddlers. Was it Fiddlers? There was a collab last year, and I think it's cool to have 2 poster artists. And then what it does is I think it gives you a little more variance. So you're gonna see signatures from both poster artists if they do a collab, but it gives it a fresher look because you have 2 different artists giving their perspective in the same thing. So I think it's great. That's pretty much it. Tomorrow there is the live stream. Actually, there's a live stream. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I have not premiered this before. Instead of doing the last stop outro, which you guys have already seen, let me do this. I'm gonna play. We'll close out the show. I'm not closing out right now. I'm just getting this set up. But I talked to a fan about the last Volta stream. They were able to watch the replay, and they were at the Camden show. So we'll look at that. And then, of course, we have, looking forward to tomorrow, we will have a full live stream of not only D&B's set, but Goose's set as well. Let me just find this clip. And thank you guys for joining here. If it's your first time watching this stream, this is the D&B post-show stream. I try to give perspective, and most times I try to get interviews. It's been a little harder this year, and some of that is because people after a show, there's a lot they have to handle. They're with friends, they're going out, but I try to get as many perspectives as possible after a show. And the most important thing is if there's somebody who has an opposing opinion or a different perspective on a show, I want to hear from them. So if you are interested, there's some buzzing about possibly other band members doing some shows. Jeff and Buddy will have a show in Nashville. I will not do a post-show stream for that. I will also be doing Farm Aid, but if you want to share perspective of a show in the future, especially next year, 2026, please message me, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, ConcertViz34. And let's see, let me make sure. Okay. Okay, here it is. I got it set up. So it's ready to go when I'm ready to close out this show before my long black cookout goodbye. If you ever go to a black cookout, you don't just say goodbye and jet out. You have to talk to, you say goodbye, then you go to the car, you say goodbye, and then you're in your car talking to someone outside of their car and you're saying goodbye for another 45 minutes. But what a show tonight. A lot of great things here. And on to tomorrow where Goose will be out there. Goose was there today. Goose was actually in the building today. And some people were able to see them, take pictures with them. If you don't know, the lead singer of Goose, Rick, he was taken to a Dave and Friends show in 2003 at the Hartford Civic Center, which is right down the block from where I am right now. He was taken to a show there by his sister, who was a huge D&B fan. And so Rick in 2003 saw Dave and Friends with Trey Anastasio and Dave Matthews and the rest of the cast, Tim, Tony Hall, etc. Who would have ever thought back then, if someone would have told Rick in the concession stand area of the Hartford Civic Center, now People's Bank Arena, who would have ever thought he would be playing a full tour with Trey Anastasio band, the Taboos tour, and then also now be, someone who's played with Dave before with the Soul Shine. I was at that show. And then also now they will be opening for Dave Matthews Band. So what life can do some funny things with you. And this is one of them. As my son goes back into the crib, hopefully he stays asleep. If not, your boy ConcertViz34 will be taking care of the next cry or wake up. He is in his teething era and he has a little cold as well. Poor boy. But nope, he just moved his head. He's so stinking cute. But yeah, so it's full circle tomorrow. But nonetheless, let me end this thing on this. This is the premiere of something I was meaning to put out forever. But this is a little. Here is Steph talking about this Volta live stream, and I ask all of you to give this a chance. I know people have had different experiences, but the team at Volta has been working even over the last couple of weeks to continue to fix, troubleshoot, and make things better and give you a unique view. The main thing with this multi-view, you can click on a camera angle and then you focus in on that. You can go back to seeing 4 or 9 or 12 different panels and then at the same time on your screen. And so from someone like me who has a 32-inch monitor right over here, to have 9 panels, they look pretty big. Because I'm right here looking at 9 panels and you can see all the different actions simultaneously. Or you can go to director's cut. Then you can click on an individual panel and watch just that shot, right? And so there's a lot of different fun things you can do. Pretty cool technology they're using. Let me shut up. Let me do this. Thank you guys for watching. This is my interview with Two Steph. It's your boy Conserviz34. Peace. What up? What up? It's your boy Conserviz34, and I have Two Steph41 here. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
We are talking today about the Volta multi-view platform. You were at the Camden Night 2 show, and you told me that you watched this presentation online, volta.live. Give us one word to just describe what it was like to watch back this show you went to with so many options.
Exciting.
And what made it exciting?
So, I mean, when you're there, you're surrounded by everything else there. You're surrounded by your friends, you're surrounded by, you know, tens of thousands of other fans, and especially in the lawn, you don't really frankly appreciate what's going on stage, and you're engulfed in everything else going around you. But then if you're able to relive it, which there's a lot of other artists, frankly, that like we watched on Nugs after the show, and you pick up things that you did not see otherwise. There were even some songs, even if you're running to get food or drinks or something like that, you're able to pick up and see things you never saw before or appreciate, frankly, at the show.
Yeah, and this platform gives you a lot of different options on how to view this amazing, amazing band. So obviously watching back this show, you knew exactly what was coming because you were there. But I want to know, what camera angle or setup did you choose as your primary way to watch this live stream?
And I think the director's cut was, frankly, my favorite. Otherwise, Dave. You're able to see, especially in the director's cut, you're just able to see so much other. You don't have to focus on one, and you don't have to. It's way too chaotic for me if I'm looking at the 9. I can't concentrate on that. It's nice to just have the director's cut to go to.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely one thing that's nice when you allow that director's cut to guide you through this. Or, like you just said, the other option, just look at Dave. You know, you can't go wrong looking at Dave having fun and enjoying himself on this stage. So we want to know, what was your favorite song to watch back from this Camden Night 2 show?
Shotgun will always win, no matter what. It's just, you get a whole new appreciation for it when, obviously, again, when you're at the show, it's one thing, but then when you see the red guitar, my heart just starts skipping a beat.
Yeah, and it is a song many fans are still chasing. So this was another treat from Volta and Dave Matthews Band, but I want to know, outside of these Volta streams, how important is it for you to be able to watch DMB shows that you're not at?
I mean, probably like the vast majority of us. I'll at least turn into Couch Tour, which is, I think it's a Facebook page that's probably over 45,000 people now. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's approaching 50,000. And I would say the vast majority of shows, I will tune it at least once, twice, if not watching the whole show, or go on Rob's live stream whenever that starts. And so there are a lot of people every single show that tune into that. At one point, I think at the openers, at the beginning of the year, it was over 1,000 easily, got over to 1,500. People tune in every single show they're not at.
Absolutely. And what's awesome about this Volta multi-view platform is, just like in Couch Tour, where you can talk to fans, whether you're the only fan in your house that's actually cares about DMB, or whether you have a family full of DMB fans, you can have live conversations in the Volta multi-view, as many fans do in the Facebook DMB Couch Tour group. So it's a nice feature to be able to have that chat while watching these Volta live streams, or for you, the replay on demand. So if in the future Volta allowed for fans to pay to watch various tour stops on this platform, which of these options best describes how often you would pay to access tour shows? Would it be every show that you're not at, once a week, major 2-night stands only, or would it be you would pay to watch only 1 to 3 streams per tour?
I'm going to try and be at every show, but if I'm not there, it's going to be probably close to every show at minimum once a week. Minimum.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's always nice to get your fix of DMB at least every week, once a week, depending on how schedules work out. I know for me sometimes, well, I do the post-show stream, but I can't watch every second of a show. But if I can get a couple times a week, it's always nice to check in to see what these boys are doing. And finally, if you could tell the band members anything in regards to your experiences watching all these Volta live streams since the band started out this in Lisbon, Portugal, what would you say to the band members?
I still don't know if they understand and comprehend how much some of these shows mean to people. And, obviously there's a lot of things going on where people have to prioritize other things in their life, but they still want to be able to see, frankly, as many shows as they can. And I mean, we're not dumb to the fact that this isn't going to go on forever. And these shows mean a lot to people, and they can't get, I've been lucky enough to travel as much as I have over the last, couple of years, but there are a lot of people that have very hard jobs and young kids, and it's very hard for them to get away. And so these shows mean a lot, and being able to see them live, as many shows as they can, I think would mean a lot to people.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you, Steph, for coming on today. And you guys can find her on Instagram, 2Steph41. If you don't know, you better know. Lots of great content from her. Just sharing the greatness of this band, the magic of this band, the love and support in this fan base. And also, of course, giving you a behind the scenes view of her experiences during show day. It's your boy ConcertViz34. Peace.
Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, it is, it is, it is. It's just the way it is, it is, it is, it is. It's just the way it is, it is, it is, it is. It's just the way it is, it is, it is, it is. It's just the way it is, it is, it is. Thank you guys, what's going on?